Hey guys, what's up? I am Olivia coming to you live from my bedroom, aka the choreography studio, aka the recording studio, aka the writing lab and creative zen where all the magic is made. Today I am here to talk to you guys a little bit just about my story and my journey. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, and when I was 16, I moved to New Jersey with my family, my mom and my brother, and I came here to pursue my dreams as a dancer and an artist, but mostly as a dancer. I was really into ballroom dancing. My mom used to work in a hospital when I was growing up, and she would teach ballroom dancing at night, and I would go with her all the time, and I fell in love with it immediately. I remember being 7 years old and just absolutely enamored, like from day one. And when I was 13, I got into performing arts school, and I was just hooked. I was so in love with everything about dancing. I was in love with how it could just take you into this other dimension, how there were never words needed, how the music would just get inside of your veins and just stimulate parts of my soul that like I didn't have language for yet, even as a child, even as a young adult. Like I just knew that it was what I wanted to do and what I was chosen to do, for the rest of my life. So I made it a priority, and I really pushed myself all of my life, most of my life, to be able to do it at the highest level. When I was 13, I got into art school in Atlanta. I went to DeKalb School of the Arts, and that's where things started to change for me. I was no longer just doing ballroom. I was doing ballet, modern, jazz, hip hop, African, in addition to all the Latin ballroom stuff, and I was still competing, but everything just expanded for me there. And when I was 16, my mom got a job in New York, so my brother, my mom, and I, we packed up, came to New York like the Three Musketeers, and tried to make it work when we got here. We didn't realize how expensive it was going to be, so I kind of had like a little delay when I got here, but I quickly got a job at Broadway Dance Center, and I was washing mirrors and working at kiosks and assisting however I could so I could get my classes in. And you make it work. When you want something, you figure it out. And when I was 18, I got an offer from this guy who I had known for years from competitions. He had asked me to come out and dance with him on the West Coast, and so I went out there originally to dance with him, and when I got out there it wound up not working out, so later I switched over and I decided to become a commercial dancer because I didn't want to have to depend on anyone anymore. And I auditioned for So You Think You Can Dance, and I became a top 30 finalist for them. It was a crazy process. I learned so much, and that led me to becoming a San Francisco 49ers cheerleader in 2011 and 12. I got an offer to dance at a show in Las Vegas at La Rev. I realized that wasn't for me. Vegas is too crazy. Uh, so finally made my way back to New York at the end of 2012. Signed to Block NYC, and there I was fortunate enough to dance with different artists. I danced with Flo Rida. I was on the Today Show, Dr. Oz. I danced for J-Lo. I was on 106 in Park. I danced for Madonna. Everything was on this upward incline, and at 26, in the middle of filming with Madonna on my birthday, I suddenly get diagnosed with breast cancer. And I remember just being shocked. Like, it's crazy how I can still, like, I remember that day so well, and I felt like they had the wrong girl. Like, I didn't know how this was possible because I had always been so healthy. I didn't smoke. I had no family history, and I had dedicated my life to being so active and so healthy. But, you know, it's true, like cancer doesn't discriminate, and we can't always plan what happens to us. So at 26, I was diagnosed. I was told that I needed to get a bilateral mastectomy, and so I decided after a lot of consideration and research and prayer that that was the best option for me. Going in, I was told that I wouldn't have to do chemotherapy, but coming out, I found out there was a different result because they found an additional tumor on the right side. And so when I came out of surgery, which was 15 hours, by the way, yes, I am a badass. After 15-hour surgery, I did 4 rounds of chemo over the course of 90 days, and I lost my hair. I shaved my head on the NASDAQ Times Square billboard. I did make it to Times Square, Mom. And I lost my eyebrows, I lost my eyelashes, I lost my self-esteem, I lost so many things. But what I didn't lose was my spirit. And I've had so many people ask me how I was able to hang on to my positivity. And you know, what I tell them is that I wasn't hanging on to my positivity, I was hanging on to the grace of God, and I was hanging on to the Spirit of the Holy Spirit and Jesus. And, you know, that might not be like the trendy answer or the commercial answer, but that was where I found my peace and where I continue to find my peace. And I just feel really blessed to be here, to be able to talk about that, you know, and fast forward almost 4 years later, like July will be 4 years since I was diagnosed, 2019, and I've had so many ups and downs since then, you know, because people look at me now and they're like, oh, your hair grew back, you know, your eyebrows came back, your eyelashes came back. You know, I got a new pair of boobies. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on here. You know, the outside repairs itself. But what I want to say is that we should never judge how somebody looks from the outside, because there's a lot of pain and mental and spiritual warfare that goes on inside of a person when they undergo all this stuff. And you know, there's still demons that I fight, there's still battles that I fight, there's still tears that I cry at the end of the night that nobody knows about or sees, you know, except my God and my mom and like probably my dog. But we fight, and we keep going, and we keep going, and we keep going, and we have a choice. We have this beautiful thing called choice, and I always want to choose to keep going. And if I couldn't dance, I was singing. If I couldn't sing, I was writing. If I wasn't writing, I was talking to somebody. If I wasn't talking to someone, I was praying with somebody. But I was always doing something. What I wouldn't do was quit. And to have this opportunity now where I'm actually strong enough to dance again on a big stage in front of so many people and share my story and my testimony and my love of, forget dancing, my love of life. Like, there's nothing better than that, you know, and to just be a light and to be a reminder to tell people to appreciate everything. Don't take it for granted, because you never know. You never know when it's going to be your last day. Live strong. God bless.